God bless you all. This is Linda Humphries. I'm psychic extraordinaire, and I say extraordinaire because God's given me all the gifts I've had in other lifetimes in this lifetime. Before I came here, I was told by the angels, the guides, the goddesses, the gods that trained me that I would be born into a family that was gifted, and that each of the aunts, the great aunts, the uncles, the great uncles would be gifted, and that they would always be there for me. Little did I know, when I asked for the gifts from past lives, that I would be able to heal people using the stones from the lifetime with Queen Hatshepsut, that I would be able to do things that Marie Laveau taught me. But moreover, the important thing is that I would be someone who, as Jesus taught me, could teach people to get rid of their fear of passing to the other side. I had 2 other lectures that you have listened to if you followed this and have listened to my YouTube lectures about passing. The first lecture had to do with acceptance that you are leaving the earth plane. The second was going to the church that was chosen for you to be cleansed and cleaned of all the debris you brought with you when you left your physical body. As I said in that lecture, whether it was you limped because you lost one leg and you never learned how to use the prosthetic, whether it was that you had cancer of the lungs and you still had trouble breathing after you died because you hadn't become aware that in passing and making the journey with God, going through a church that you chose, such as my church here in Florence that I love so much, you were not fully aware that disease, which is really our dis-ease with something going on with our body, leaves us the second we are no longer in a physical form. And it is gone. As I said in another lecture, some people that have committed suicide may have holes from shooting themselves. They may have gashes out of their arms from stabbing themselves. Other people that have had car accidents and died suddenly. It wasn't something God had planned for them. It was due to a drunk driver. They may still doubt that their neck feels good. They may still doubt that they're able to feel and sense with their fingers. They may doubt that they are full if they did not spend enough time in the church. When they leave the church and they are headed to the library, and the library is where the angels and all of the librarians, and one of the most famous librarians of all for the Egyptians was Thoth. He was the partner for Mat, the goddess who was about all the laws that the Egyptians had to follow. Thoth was the record keeper. So I, who was Egyptian many lifetimes, I'm sure has a lot in the old Akashic records, which is about what you've done that lifetime, probably have things written in there from him. But in this lifetime when I go, as each of you, you need to go and read and not be afraid to read what is written about you. But as I've said to many people, a lot of people that don't know how to do that may also be greeted by an angel who will grasp them, arm around here, you grasp them, arm around here, and they will play you a video of your life. And you will see it played. If you do not want to go see the movies or read about your life through the Akashic Records, what I will say to you is it is the same. I have described it for many, many a people. When they do this and they get to the children, or they get to your wives or your husbands, or even the people you worked with, if you have done bad to them and you have disrespected them or made them feel bad about themselves, you will feel the pain you gave them in here. You will feel the doubt you've put inside their minds as to what they were worth. So if you are not ready, it'll hurt. You will be scared. But what I will tell you is I do not want you running away, because you need to look at all the things you've done for everybody. Because it may be that you bullied me at work, but it may be that you were there for your grandchildren. You were there for other people. It may be that the white light that will glow around you for all the goodness you did will help erase what you have done to me. The same as I tell business women and businessmen who come to me that have cancer, who come to me that have diseases that they're worried they may not be here long. And they're afraid because part of their life was spent stepping on people to get where they went. Oh my God, Linda, what's going to happen? And I describe to them what they are doing now. That I know the last 4 years they have helped the St. Louis Zoo. They have helped other charities. They have given for multiple dystrophy. They have given for the art museum. And I tell them that not everybody is judged by their early mistakes if the rest of their life they made atonement. That is why when I have little 4-year-old kids come to me with their parents getting readings, and they say, I know who that is. That's the man that walks around our house that Mom's showing you the picture of, but he looks black. He doesn't look like he does in that picture. I always tell him to tell that man you love him, and to tell him to go back and look in the library again, because he's loved by more people than he's hated by. And the little kids always go home, and by the next time the person that wanted to talk to their uncle or talk to a grandfather or even a husband comes back, and the person has gone to the library. The Library of the Akashic Records can have many, many rooms. because it covers many people. It covers everybody who has been on earth from the beginning of earth. It covers everybody who has died and has the records for us from every lifetime we've been here. When I was little, I used to have dreams of the Indians chopping off my mom's head. Kind of scary. I'd get out of bed between 1:30 and 3:30 in the morning, go over to my grandma's house right next door and say, "You gotta call Aunt Julie. Those Indians are in our house again. They're going to chop off Mom's head." My great Aunt Julie told me, "You're dreaming about your family from another lifetime who doesn't like the way your mother's treating you." They really are not physically going to do that, Linda. They just don't like the way she's treating you. Well, to me, they weren't ghosts. To me, they weren't my relatives. To me, they were physically standing there, as real as I'm standing here talking to you now. That is also why when some little kids are gifted, as I was, they will tell you about the tiger in their room. They will tell you there was an Indian in their room. They will tell you about what they see, because if they're gifted like me, they can physically make, and my Aunt Maudie does not like being called a ghost. She is a soul that has not yet been reborn. My great Aunt Julie says they are souls that are very active. She's not sure she wants to come back here. So either way, when your children say they see somebody, or you feel like you see somebody, or you sense somebody touching your hair, or your chair gets moved around. The one lady I read for, I used to always tell her her great-grandmother looks out after her. We did a Skype session. I told her grandmother had went to her Akashic Records, and her grandmother saw all the lifetimes she had been here and all the stuff she did this lifetime, and what a great lady she was for helping people with her grocery store and everything. So we did a meditation after I got done doing all that for her and did the channeling of what her grandmother wanted. And the lady laid down on her floor in her apartment. Halfway through the meditation, the lady goes, "Oh my God." And I thought, oh, something terrible happened during the meditation. I didn't know. And she says, "Linda, my grandmother is moved her chair that I got of hers in the middle of my room and is sitting staring down at me. And I can't move that chair. It's too heavy. How do I explain that to my dad and to my brother who had to move it in for me, that I moved it? They don't believe in this stuff you do for me." I had no answer for her. I'm not that psychically gifted. I didn't want to make up a lie. I wanted her to tell the truth. That her little grandmother, who is 4'7", moved her chair, which was made out of full oak, into the middle of the room so she could have the meditation with her. Because her grandmother did the Akashic Records. Her grandmother went to the library. Her grandmother was not afraid of what she might see from this lifetime. That is why I'm telling you, if and when a friend of yours, a relative of yours, is given their diagnosis of cancer, their diagnosis of something terrible, or if you're talking to them about death, just in general, because you're talking to them because you watched this, share the information to them that going into the library reading about what you read about, or even being grabbed by Jesus, or being grabbed by another saint or another angel or another god or goddess, or even your uncle or whoever you really, really admire, and reliving what you caused, or reliving the goodness you've done for people, allows you to be in the other side of our life here on earth. It allows you to watch over us. I did a session with a lady at her house, and I said, you know, your sister's moving your furniture around. She said, oh, I doubt that. She said, my furniture gets moved by my grandchildren. I said, well, that's your sister's hat over there on that stand, right? She goes, yeah, right. Somebody told you that. And that's how come you're saying it. 5 seconds later, the hat that was over in the corner flew into the middle of the table where we were sitting. The lady stood up, took a few deep breaths, and went, holy, never mind. She then sat back down again and she goes, do you know how to make things move? And I said, well, if I would, I'd make $1 million, move out of the bank down the street from me and into my bank account, because I bank at that bank. I said, no, I don't. But your sister gets tired of you ignoring the fact that she's here. So she thought, with a gifted person telling you about her, she would make you see she's not dead. She's just on the other side hanging out. So, as I said, people that pass, if they're willing to go the steps and willing to be able to be cleaned in the church, to be able to be centered and know that there is nothing wrong with them, that they are capable of watching over everyone they love, everyone they care about. I had my Aunt Maudie, who never had children, take care of a young man who I brought home from New Orleans with me, who has been waiting in New Orleans as a ghost in the top of an orphanage in the Celestine House. I have pictures of it on my camera, taking the tour at night with my adopted daughter, who's filming this for me. I told her, I said, that's my son. I didn't get to adopt him. Marie Laveau told me I'd see my picture next to hers and my husband's picture next to hers in one of the museums down there. My adopted daughter picked that to go to, and sure enough, when I did the research, there was a picture. When I looked up the lady online, who looked a lot like me, she was not allowed to adopt that little boy because her husband died. And they didn't allow women in the 1800s to adopt kids. So I died losing my son. He died of pneumonia, or chest, whatever, it was a chest thing, not having a mother. So as my 3 ladies left my house the other night, they saw my Aunt Maudie standing at the top of the stairs, telling him to quit shutting and opening the basement door like he was doing. I thought it was rather cute, because my Aunt Maudie and my Uncle Alex, who didn't have children but had all of us who loved them, now have my little son. So as I said, I brought a spirit from New Orleans who had lived there empty, waiting for me to return, and brought it, and now it's on the other side with my Aunt Maudie and my Uncle Alex. So as I said, spirits show themselves. Spirits can touch you. If you want further information, lindahumphries.com. I do phone consultations. I do Skype. I am honored that you let me share what I know. Namaste.